Okay, guys, I think I'm on again. Let's try this again. Can you see me? Okay, gosh. Who knew this was so hard? Let's see. It wants me to be this way? Okay, sounds good. Oh, so sorry, you guys. It's taking me a while to get this squared away. I really want to be able to see your comments. So I am trying to find how to do that. And boy, I thought I knew how to do this, no problem, but it doesn't look like I am very good at this. Okay, let's see if any comments have popped up. Let's see, finally. Oh, good. So what had happened is, thank you for being patient. What had happened is I put it on the yes, it's made for kids, but when that happens, I didn't realize that turns off the chat, which does make sense. So this is made for your children to watch if they would like, but I had to turn that off in order to do that. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines, says the chat, which we all do already. Ahoja, yes, hi, Joanne, Cheryl, Vicky, Chris, Serenity Clay is here, Tammy's here, Cheryl, all these different people. I'm not going to take a bunch of time to say hello to everybody, only because I love you all and I'm so glad to see you, but that would take such a long time. So just know I'm seeing you popping on and I'm loving it. I'm going in this particular format because it told me to. I think I can switch it around, but again, I'm kind of new at some of this stuff, especially the YouTube lives, and so I'm not always pressing the buttons correctly, but I think you can see me. It looks like everybody is checking in and finding me, which is wonderful. I love that. Well, I've got lots to talk to you about. Thank you for bearing with me while I got my act together. Yay! This is why I go on early, just so I can have tech issues, but it's so good to see all you guys. And I would love, as you watch this, once you're done, if you want to share this video later on, YouTube lets you just share it to your other pals that might enjoy this. So please spread the word. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do it. That way you'll get notifications when I put new stuff up. And of course, you can give me a like, and you're already doing the comments, which is terrific. I think there's other various buttons you can find and click on and do whatever you want to do. I will be adding, once this is done, I will be adding a couple of different things, a link to my website, a link to the new Facebook page, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, a link to the upcoming new workshop, the place where you can add your name to win more Christi Weirdos and other things as we go along. Hi, Suzanne from Switzerland. I always love, and Janet from the UK. I love when our international folks pop up and make us well-rounded people. I really like that. Janet says, I'm ready. I've eaten dinner. I have a postprandial cup of tea and something to sip. So that is awesome. I'm so glad to have you here. I also will add a donate button. Sometimes you can see there's a little donate button here on the live chat, which you're welcome to do. And over the Facebook page, I have it as well. The reason I bring that up is you guys are always so great about supporting me and buying my classes and my workshops and my things that I sell, which is a great way to support me. But from time to time, I just mention a donation in case I'm doing something or sharing something that's a freebie. But if you find it good and you have a couple of extra bucks to buy me a chocolate or whatever, it'll help pay my bills. It keeps me able to interact here with you guys without having to go get a real job, which means I can share more. So I always appreciate that. But it's up to you what you can do, and I want you here no matter what. So that's the last I'll say of that. Okay, guys, Paula's fellow Brit, Paula to Janet, hooray. Seeing all the, Jean is ready, woohoos. Just seeing all the comments. I'm so excited. Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to make a weirdo. But first, I'm going to tell you why. But before even that, I'm going to tell you something else. All right? So, I have these two little guys that I have been putting some posts up. These are called doddles. And I don't know why they are. They just are. I put them up as a thing you can win. So I'm going to be a little later in this telling you who the winner is. And then I'll get in touch with them and take care of that from now with them. But if you want to win, a prize from me from time to time. You can pop on any one of various public places that I'm at. But I just created a new Facebook page, and there's going to be another winner later on in the month there. So let me tell you about what we're doing, and that will tie into why there's a Facebook page. Okay, so I have been teaching for a very long time, and I teach primarily adults. We have some fun together, and lately it's been something on my mind, coming to the realization that I have not really included kids in my teaching and outreach and interaction or whatever else very much. And I don't really know why, because kids are just so full of creativity, and their filters for whether something's right or wrong are not fully shoved in yet. And I really wanted to start something where we, as adults, grandparents, friends, whatever, could interact with our friends and our kids and our grandkids and other people in the neighborhood more, to do creativity together, because it's life affirming, it's wonderful, it's fun, and in my opinion, the more fun the better. Because if you're not having fun in life, you need to analyze why not and try to fix that the best you can. And sometimes there's some really legitimate reasons for that. But let's all try to have a bit more fun. And if we can make sure that it is a safe place for kids to have fun and not squelch that, I think that would be better. Okay, so Vicki says, be sure to hit the thumbs up and the like buttons. Says Vicki, there's 45 watching now, and as you pop in, and 58 now that I'm seeing it, punch those buttons. That helps spread it out to the YouTube community. More people can find it. And I'm sure Debbie says, today's my first day watching your live stream. Oh, Debbie, welcome. From the looks of things, it was my first day doing it. They keep changing stuff on all the social media. So it's been a little while since I went on live on YouTube. And so it took me a little bit of fumbles to get it, but we're here. Love the bug, says Pat. Yay. Somebody was saying, Welly, he gets lots of your creative juices. Yeah. Well, Welly's my pal, and creating with him is really fun. Susan says, that's a great idea. How I often do your projects with my grandkids. Let's see. Dar says, fun. Marriage can be fun as long as the honeymoon persists. Are you newly married, Dar? I think that honeymoon feeling is a wonderful feeling to try and just capture in all the stuff we do. And we get a little bit of that excitement when we're creating, don't we? Because it is just this love and this joy happens in our creativity. So I picked our project today, making a weirdo, for that reason specifically, because creating this little thing that's just weird out of polymer clay is very easy, very accessible. It's something, and you can use an air dry clay or Play-Doh or whatever you've got. Jane says, Ahoja, I had to find you. You found us, Jane. Hooray. Yay. I'm so glad to see you guys and so many of my friends from overseas. Thank you for coming. But I really wanted to just kind of give us that reminder that play is good. Creativity can be about the play. And if you can bring kids in and share, that's part of my Weirdo challenge for the summer. So the summer Weirdo challenge is, number one, make something. And make a weirdo because it's fun. Number two, make it with somebody. Kids preferably, but anybody that you're connected to. If you're all by yourself, that's maybe a good opportunity to see, is there somebody around that maybe I didn't notice before that likes creativity, that would want to just play? If I had some clay outside, and would somebody come by and want to do it with me, if that makes you feel comfortable or whatever. So doing it with somebody. Then the third part of the challenge is sharing. So once you've made that piece, whether you're by yourself making or with someone else or someone else's making, make extras so that you can keep the ones you want, but then you can share the others. So this little prize that I'm giving away, I'm kind of leading the charge here, is that I'm giving away 2 to the same person, so they can keep the one they like, and then they have to give the other one to somebody. To make this creativity that we do, let's share it with other people. And on the Facebook page, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a second, I have, or I will be as soon as we're done talking, I've made a little PDF that you can print out that basically is something you can tuck in with something you've made if you want to put it somewhere where someone can find it. So that lets a parent of a child know it was okay for them to have this. They didn't just steal a toy from someone else. It lets them have a little QR code to get over to the Facebook page. And our new Facebook page, oh, Dee says she's been making weirdos with her 7-year-old grandson today. Yay! I'm so glad to see that. That's so great. Dar says, seems that you have taught us to make extras. Love your hearts. Thank you, Dar. I have always felt, and I know we all do that, there's this extra energy you get when you're sharing your creativity with other people. It's a lovely thing. And we all do it in different ways. Some of us are extroverted, introverted. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just share. And I thought this would be a good challenge to get us to make, but then to share. So my suggestion is, if you have people in your life that you like, hey, I made weirdos, pick out your favorite. Great. But if you don't feel comfortable with that or whatever, then you can go tuck one somewhere where somebody will find it. At the table of a coffee shop, near a park, wherever amuses you, and have the little tag. I've made one. If you want, you can make your own, that essentially says, I made this, have it and enjoy. And then I've made a little code to the Facebook page. So the Facebook page is called Curiosity&Wonder. And it just made it last night. It's public. You can go over there and join. It's a place for you to share the things you're making. It's a place for you to share pictures of you making with your people, just to help us all be encouraged to create with each other. And it's a place for somebody who might find one of your pieces, kind of like the Art Abandonment, which is another wonderful program that does that sort of thing. And there's one that does rocks, painted rocks. So there's a lot of these things out there where we just randomly share. So I want to encourage you to join the Facebook page, take on the little challenge, share the things that you're doing with the rest of us in case you've got a great idea that we hadn't thought of yet. Lynn says, yep, I love giving them to my friends. Amazing how people of all ages loves these. Very true. And by these, I'm going to show you a couple of things to give you some ideas of what we're going to do. We're going to make a simple little weirdo today out of polymer clay. And I'll tell you all about that in a second. But here are some things to get your brain going. I have another video here on my channel that just is a ghoulie. So these are glow-in-the-dark ghoulies. That's what I call them. My apologies to those of you down under and elsewhere where ghoulies can have other meanings, but here it's kind of like a little ghoul, a little monster, a little glow-in-the-dark creature. And they can be as weird as you want them. I love the idea of little weirdos because the only thing that matters is that they have personality. All right, so they can be grumpy, they can be sad, they can be happy, they can be mischievous, they can be all the things that we are, all of our emotions, and whatever makes you happy. This one is called Pinchy for obvious reasons. So he's got a big old fluff of hair. We'll talk about that. I gave him a big old lobster claw, and I'm making these out of glow-in-the-dark clay, which I will tell you about in a minute. This one is sort of a little wizard because he's got this like stick that I made with some crystals on it. And the reason I'm showing you those is just to give you some ideas. I'm going to make something really simple. Like these guys are just blobs and simple, but I'm going to give you some thoughts on how you can make it a little bit more exciting, which we're going to do in just one moment. So thank you for listening to all my yammer yammer until we get around to what's next. So I do want to also just say this really quickly. I have just added to my website. It's just christifriesen.com, just like the Christi Friesen universe over here. A Curiosity and Wonder workshop. And right now I don't have any details yet. I'll be filling those out and posting a little bit more about that shortly, but it's a $25 charge and that's a family price. So what I wanted to do is that, you know, one of you can buy it, but then anybody in your family, your friend, your sister, your whoever wants to create with you is all included in that. So I'll give you some instructions on how they can all participate, but it's kind of a family price. So that's going on too. So when we're done chatting, you can wander over to the website and I'll add it in the descriptions for anybody who's watching later. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want to talk about what I'm going to use to make this little weirdo. I'm using polymer clay. Now, the reason I'm using polymer clay is I love the fact that I can create with polymer and it doesn't have to harden until I'm ready to bake it. Okay, so it is a baking clay. If that doesn't work for you, if you don't have an oven to bake it in, there are air dry clays. They're a little trickier to work with if you start putting arms and things around. But if you're just making a little blob, that works. You can use anything you want. You got a glue gun around, you got sticks and pine cones and things. You want to glue together a weirdo out of stuff you find outside. awesome. You got a toilet paper roll and you want to paint a weirdo character on its face on it to make it be a character, great. Whatever works for you is terrific. What I'm going to show you today is using polymer clay. Now, I'm using the glow in the dark, which you can't always find, but if you go to Sculpey's website, they will have it year round. Other times, if you're going to your other sources, they may not have it till closer to the fall. But I'm using this, and I add a little bit of the granite to it. So Primo is my clay of choice, but all the clays work great. And I mix the two together, so I get just sort of this blend of glow in the dark with speckles in it. The reason I do that is because polymer clay likes to just collect lint from the universe and put it in itself. And if I start out with some of those specks already in there, then anything else it finds is going to look like I did it on purpose instead of like, oh crap, there's weirdness in there. So I do it that way, but you can make any color you have, any color you want, swirl it all up to make a marbly blend, whatever. As you can tell, these guys are not glow in the dark. They're other things. So whatever works. Dar says, we'll have to go to the store. I'll return. Well, but luckily you can watch this and then go to the store and then come back and watch it again and make it. Okay, so now I'm going to do this thing where I flip the camera around so you can watch what I make. And with any luck, I won't lose you. Okay, hold on to your hats. Here we go. Now, some people have wonderful little tech where they have multiple cameras and it all works out so great. I don't really have that just yet, but I'll get there eventually. But for now, I think we can see my table. I'm going to put a couple of our little weirdos here to watch with us. So there we go. All right, and this is a little magnet. I carry a couple of stickers and magnets on my site, but I just want you to remember, be true to your weirdness. We are all weird, and that's as it should be. Weirdness is great. Let's all just enjoy each other's weirdness and be kind to each other, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take my little blob of clay. Yay! And I'm so glad you guys are here and watching me. That makes me really happy. Please enjoy making this with your friends and tell me all about how it goes. So I have mixed my clay up ahead of time, and I'm going to take a blob. Now, the reason why I'm doing a weirdo is because there's no way to do this wrong. And I think that there are times in our life where we need to be able to do something where you cannot do it wrong, right? We got enough rules, we got enough stuff that's going sideways. Let's just do something that can't go wrong. And when it comes to making a weird creature, they're all correct, right? There's no way to say something isn't the right kind of weird creature because it's a weird creature. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this ball of clay and I'm rolling it. Now, I have to say that there is one way that you could do something weird because because polymer clay is a oven baking clay. And I'll talk about that in a minute at the end. You could bake it incorrectly, which would damage your end result, but you can't make it wrong. Okay, so I did want to at least just qualify that. It's pretty hard to make it wrong. Okay, now I made this little oval and I cut the end off, and you can just push it down. You don't have to use a blade to cut it. You can just use your fingers. And I'm shoving it down so that I end up with sort of this little obelisk, oval, half a pill, half a capsule, whatever you want to call this thing. Okay, and this is sort of the base that I use for most of my little weirdos. But as you can tell, you can just do a round shape. Any shape's gonna work groovy. Paula says, what was the name of the new Facebook again? Curiosity&Wonder. Okay, because I just feel like I've really been thinking about that lately. I just want to be curious about life. I want to be open to all the wonder. I want to use curiosity and wonder in what I'm creating and how I'm sharing that. So that's what the name of it is. Yeah, and I'll put that link in here on the description once this is all done, if I can figure out how to do that. And if not, I'll make a separate little video about it. All right, so it should be able to stand up. Now, I'm just working on a little tile. Those are easy to work on, but you could work on a piece of paper. You could do whatever you like. I always suggest you have a little something between you and your table if your table is like wood. Otherwise, go nuts. But I love the tile because then I can just take this whole thing and put it in the oven. So the only thing we want to remember is that when we're making a weirdo, the weirdo should have some personality. So as you're making him, you start thinking, what is this guy or gal or whatever it may be. What is it about? Is it happy? Is it sad? What is it? And as you make it, you'll kind of discover it. I love using these little beads. So I have like a bucket full of these little glass teddy bear beads. I sell some on my website. I have an Amazon influencer page, and you can go find the link to get them in bulk yourself. But I love them because they're glass. So a thing to remember about polymer clay is it's getting baked in the oven. All right. So that means if it's baked in the oven, the kinds of things that go on it can get shoved in it have to be okay for the oven. So that's any kind of glass or crystal, any kind of stone, any kind of ceramic or metal. Those all work fantastic. You can do little clay eyeballs. You don't have to, like these guys have clay eyeballs. I just shoved a little piece of white clay ball in there, and then I used some powder. So you can do a million different things for eyes, but I like to start off by giving my weirdo eyes. And all I'm going to do, you can use your fingers. I'm using a little needle nose tweezer just because my fingers are fat. And I'm shoving these in. Now they have a little stem which helps them stick in there, but I'm shoving these into the clay. That's all you've got to do. Shove. Shoving is good. And if you have like a little glass rhinestone, you could shove that in. If you had a little black bead, you could put that in. In some of my different tutorials and things, I show how to wire the beads so that they can stay in and last really well. But for this, it's not important. So oftentimes I'll pull out little horns or little knobs. We're not going to do this today. This is like the simplest one possible. We're going to put his eyeballs in, and we're going to give him some kind of a mouth. That's going to be our starting point, okay? Now, any kind of tool that you have lying around will work. I'm using a needle tool, but you could use a toothpick. You can use your teeth if you have to, but I don't recommend that. Fingernail, you know, random scrap of metal you find on the ground, whatever works for you. But I'm going to make this guy happy for no real reason. He just is amused today. And I'm just drawing a little smiley line, and you notice that little trick at the end is I just kind of shoved it a little bit more sideways, and it gives him like a little bit of a rounded end to his smile, which I think is good. Now, if you wanted to, he could have a tongue, right? So why don't I'll use my tool here, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to open up a little space where a tongue would live and kind of open up his mouth a little bit. So this is the neat thing about polymer clay is you can just start shoving it and it'll just do what you say. And what's the worst that can happen? You totally ruin it, right? We just wad it up and start again. Usually it ends up looking really cool the second time around. So nobody, oh, thank you, Debbie. Nobody feels stressed, okay? Don't worry. There's no way to mess this up. And if you do mess it up somehow, who cares? You can just make another one. It's all good. Debbie says, I can't see you well. Can you zoom in a little bit more? I will do a little bit more. I'm always cautious about getting too close because then my camera starts focusing all crazily. But is that a little bit better, Debbie? I think you can see it just a bit better there. And I'll hold him up a little closer here so you can see that little happy face. How's that? All right. So I just grabbed a little bit of pink clay that I had lying around in my clay buckets, which are right in front of me. And I'm going to just take this and sort of flatten it out a little bit. And I'm going to get rid of the excess. And I'm going to take my little needle tool again and put a line in the middle because that's how tongues do, apparently. And I'm going to pick up this little tongue and pinch it flat there so I can shove it right in the little tongue hole that I made and bend it down. And then to make sure that it stays in, I'm going to just push it right along that little line. And look, now he's sticking his tongue out at you, right? I think that works. All right, so now if I wanted to, I can make him like a little mischievous. What if I shove this down a little bit and I make it look like he's got a little bit of a frown line? See how easy it is to change their whole personality. So now he's looking at you like, I got the last candy bar. Nah, nah, nah. But probably he's going to share because it's a pretty big candy bar. We'll see. Who knows? All right, so now this little guy is all that you need to do is just play with it. You're done. You're great. But what if you wanted to do some more stuff? Because obviously more is always better, right? I'm going to take and give him some hairdo like this little guy has. Because why not? If you've got some thread lying around, like this is a little clump of silk from used saris, so they upcycle the silk that the saris are made out of and sell it as a little ribbon. And I think I've got some of this for sale on my site. I know I did at one point. I think I do. Who knows? Maybe it's sold out, but you can find it online and stuff. And I'm going to tie a little knot in it. So whenever I have multiple threads, I'll tie a knot in it to keep it all together. Then I'll take my needle tool or whatever, and I'll just poke a hole in his head. Whee! If you have a little bit of liquid clay, you can put it in the hole, but that's not necessary. Liquid clay just helps stuff stick together better. It's not really a glue. But it just is sort of a liquid version of clay, which will get all wrapped around all of this threads and make them stay in there really well. You can also do something like this. This is just flexible beading cable. I just stuck that right in. You don't have to do anything other than stick it in. Just experiment. What else could you put in there? Could you put a whole bunch of like nails that you found in the street? Oh gosh, yes. Could you put little sticks? Oh yeah, sure, why not? So just see what you come up with. But now he's got some funky fun hairdo that goes with his little mischievous face, right? So the last thing I want to show you, I'm not even going to make hands or anything crazy like that. We could do all of that stuff. I have a little Ghoulies tutorial bundle. You can grab that if you want to learn more tricks, but I'm going to put a little bit of powder on here. Now, there's a lot of different powders that we can use. Let me hold them up a little closer so you can see it again. A lot of different powders that we can use with polymer clay. You can use glitter, you can use mica powder, which is that shiny stuff. You can use any kind of pigment or chalk powder. So if you've got a box of those chalk pastels, you can scrape a little bit of that off and just brush it right on to your guy, right? I use pan pastels, which are a little pastel that comes in like a pan like this. I have various reasons why I love this. They're a little bit more expensive, but don't let that, get in your way. Just use whatever fun little chalky powders you've got around. And I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to just rub it over his eyes because I feel like most things would wear mascara if they could do so easily. So we're going to give him a little bit of mascara, or her, a little bit of mascara, just to make that whole thing look a little bit more fun. Doesn't that look cool? So now we've got this mischievous little weirdo. And that's as simple as that. So now I'm going to flip it around and we're going to chat. Okay, so there is so many more things that we could do. And I didn't want to overwhelm you with this. Many of you who follow me, like, I know that. I got all that stuff. That's easy breezy. But a lot of you are going to be watching this for the very first time. And I didn't want it to be too difficult to make a weirdo. But this is your basic starter weirdo. Now what? How crazy are you going to get? Like I said, you can add arms and it can be holding things. And the arms don't have to be complicated. They can just be a little snake of clay that you shove on the side. So there's just so many places you can go with this. It's so easy and there's never any stopping. Once it's done and baked, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, you can paint on it with any kinds of paints. You can use markers. You can use acrylic paints. You can use alcohol inks. You can just go nuts. Okay, so have so much fun. Debbie says, I love pastels, but I've never heard of pan pastels. Thanks for the information. You're very welcome. They are my pastel of choice because they grab onto the clay and stick, and they're thick, but you can mix. They're gorgeous. I love them. I'll make sure that there is, as I mentioned, my Amazon influencer page will be in the descriptions once I'm done talking. And it's over also on the new Facebook page so that you can go see some of my recommendations for pan pastels. DMC floss is good for hair too. Feathers are good. Feathers, of course. Yeah, a dental floss is good as well. Basic starter weirdo. That's my origin story, says Andrea. I like that one, Andrea. That's terrific. Oh my gosh. Please make another one with a baby. I know. Don't you love it when they hold? I'm going to look and see if I've got, sometimes I make these little ones that are just hatching out of eggs. In fact, I made a little batch because I got a whole bunch of these silkworm cocoons. And so I made some that are hatching out of silkworm cocoons. So they're just so much fun, right? So what I wanted to do, and Dee, I hear you. I would jump right back in and make another one for you. But I want to start there so it's not overwhelming for anybody who's new to this. But that leads us to the Curiosity and Wonder workshop. What the theme for that will be was nice monsters. I thought, let's start off with this whole weirdo monster thing and let's explore it together for a day. On Sunday August the 13th. So it will have some live chat times, and we'll make variations. We'll make things holding other little fun things. We'll make things having accessories. We'll make monsters just with using wires and stuff to support. We'll get a little bit crazy with it. It's not going to be project driven, although we'll be doing projects. It's going to be exploration driven. So I want to really kind of play with that whole curiosity and wonder, and I'll have all kinds of different things we can explore together. So if you want more, Debbie, sign up for the little workshop and join us. It's in a Facebook group. It's saved, so whether or not you can be there live, you'll be able to access everything. So that's how I do my little workshops. Anyway, so I just wanted to remind you now, you've got a starter, Ghoulie Weirdo, a little weirdo. Where are you going to take it? Where are you going to go from there? What are you going to add to it? I want to know. So I have a couple of Facebook pages, the Curiosity and Wonder, which is a new one, specifically for this kind of thing, and exploitation driven. If I said exploitation, I kind of meant exploration, but both can work. I find that now, as at my advanced age, I'm starting to just say the wrong words. And before I would say it but catch it. But now I just blithely go around because my brain and my mouth have a 2-second delay. So my brain already thought of the right thing, but something else came out of my mouth and my brain is already off to the next thing, which is weird. So if you ever see me say a weird thing, please holler, because I would like to correct it. And I'm not self-correcting anymore, which is really weird. Anyway, so again, I'm not trying to get anybody to give me money, although I love that. But I would love to have you join us for that exploitation workshop. If you know of somebody, and it's a family price, if you know of somebody that would really like to be there but maybe can't afford it, I have scholarship funds that are available. You can bring them in as part of your family. I just want everybody to enjoy it, but also want you to give me money, because why not? But I don't want anybody not to take it because they can't. So you just message me or you bring them in under your family plan and it's going to be all good. Yeah, Darlene, my autocorrect is down and out. My brain's like that. How funny, says Debbie. I know, it's just what happens. The broken wrist is making me stupid. Oh, Mary, I'm sorry. Yeah, whenever our body is healing one thing, it just kind of leaves off making the other things work well, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have a prize to give away, which I'm going to do here in just a minute. But I just want to thank you all, and I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you joining me on this challenge. We have a month and a half left, or a month, depending on when your summer stops, because you've got back to school or other activities. But we've got some time to join in the challenge together and make some weirdos with people, bring kids in to share the joy of creativity, uncensored, without rules, so the kids can just have fun with us making, and then we can share them. Encourage the kids to share them. They could set up a little thing and sell their little ghoulies, but also give some away, and that would be fun for them too. A little extra money that shows the connection between creating something that's really good and other people liking it. That's a wonderful way. If selling is stressful, then do a different thing. Share it. Sometimes we have older people that are not able to get out and about very much, and boy, wouldn't they love a little weirdo to keep them company. So I'll leave it up to you to figure it out. Mary says, wait, what? There's prizes? There are. So I had posted on my Christi's Creative Neighborhood public Facebook group post about, do you want to win the little set of doddles? And that was a promo to get you to pay attention to what I was going to do. So there's a couple ways to get in on this kind of thing. Number one, go to my website and sign up for my eBlather free newsletter, and I'll tell you all the stuff that's happening. Number two is be part of one of my public groups, the Christi's Creative Neighborhood or this new Curiosity and Wonder. And I will post things. In fact, right this very moment, waiting for you, there's a post that lets you add your name, and I will pick a winner for one of my weirdos later in the month. But this is the one that has been. So I'm sorry, Mary, you don't get to be in on this one because a prize has already been assigned, but there's new ones coming up all the time. You're welcome, Margaret. Very short summer and it's gone, says Suzanne. Oh, man. Okay, well, your summer can extend out to the autumn. So it's still, the challenge is still ongoing. It's all good. So what I do is, like, all the names, I throw them in. I have a random robot who picks the winner. And here's the winner. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Debbie Say Loveless. Debbie Say Loveless, you are the one who won these. I'm going to send both of them to you. I'll email or message you on Facebook Messenger to let you know. And you'll get to pick the one you like. I'll send you both. You'll pick the one you like to keep, and then you have to give one away and report back to us how the other person liked their little free gift. So, all good, right? All right, you guys. Dee says, we had summer one weekend back in June. Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. I'm here in Maui, so it's just delightful, springy summer all the time, which I'm loving so much. All right, guys. So I'm wrapping a bow on our time together. We had our very quick little generic weirdo. I can't wait to see where you take it from there. Please join that group and post pictures of your weirdos so we can enjoy them. Let us know how you've shared them, who's enjoyed them with you, how you had fun playing, and share this video to anybody that you think might have fun with it. If you feel like going over to my donation and clicking that and buying me a chocolate, I wouldn't mind that either. But otherwise, I will see you cats around. Thank you for being here with me, and happy, happy, happy creating. Goodbye.